Can you feel it? The fire in your soul, leaving at the chance for love. Can you feel
let's go. Welcome in, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Power. I'm joined by the amazing Felix. We got to see a little bit of an early pre-release of product art, which is fresh out. If you, more importantly, want to get involved in the game, it's made by Krafton. You can by typing !project mark into chat, and obviously you'll be able to get on the wish list for the game when it drops out on Steam. Felix, there's lots to talk about. We had the scrims yesterday. There was a lot going on. There's a lot of I suppose these pros developing at a fast rate. But this is now group stage, mate. This is now best of ones, and these teams need to be able to perform, and they need to get points on the board if they want to stand a chance to get the lion's share of the prize pool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, we guess we're going to walk you through this tournament setup throughout the next couple of minutes. And as you said as well, right, we saw these scrims yesterday. Some of these streamer teams, some of these professional players in these streamer teams as well, they have struggled quite a bit. It wasn't all as easy going as we thought it was going to be for some of them. Fuzzface's team, for example, losing out in that very last match against Artix and his squad. So it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be a lot tougher than we originally expected.
So we've got 6 teams today, guys. You know the format. It is a 2-day event. It's just shy of $7,000 up for grabs. Every team is going to be taking a part of the prize share away. Every player also and teams will be streaming their POV. So again, if you're on Project R, if you're on Twitch, obviously you can click on it. You can get the whole raft of people that are streaming. Obviously, in case we're not covering the right game for you. We're going to kick things off about 5 past. So in a couple of minutes' time, we're going to have our first game. And what we are playing for is the group stage. Every team needs to play every team. It's a best of one scenario, so obviously you've got to be in a chance to be able to get that win, and we'll be playing bomb attack and defense, where these teams will go head to head to try and go for the plant or defuse, and obviously if you get the plant successful, if you eliminate the other team, you get the points on the board, and it's a best of 5. So as I said, these teams only really get one shot at the opposing team today. Then we're going to obviously the leaderboard that we can keep up to date. Exclamation mark leaderboard in chat will get you a link towards the platform there, where we're keeping track of where all the points, who's played who, and where the points lie. But technically, first and second we're playing in the semis, going towards the finals tomorrow, and then the other teams will be duking out in the quarters, just to try and figure out who will end up in the what position from 6th through to first. As I said, everyone will be getting some money. There is $7,000 up for grabs, so just shy, but lots of money, lots of it interesting. Do you know what as well? That if you haven't seen this game, there's a lot of similarities from PUBG, and hey, that's why we've got all these PUBG casters, FedEx, because we got some of the weapons, we've got some of the util, but it's a top-down POV. So I felt some of the players and teams were still trying to get used to that style of play, because you can't point and shoot, especially if someone takes a crouch shot. You've got to be able, and as the big thing for me is communication. I felt, and you highlighted slightly, some of the teams didn't quite get it down right yesterday. They only had 24 hours to try and fix this now, and let's see what they can do and bring to the table this evening.
Yeah, it's super exciting going into this day, because we saw yesterday how fast some of these games are, and there's really just no breathing room for any of these teams to make a mistake. Right, 3 rounds, that could in theory be fast, or under 5 minutes. Right, that could be faster than 5 minutes even. So yeah, as we said, no mistakes are to be made if you really want to advance to the finals and to the playoffs tomorrow. So exciting times. You said it as well. Lots of similarities to PUBG, especially the weapons. Some of these gadgets. We have blue zone grenades in the game. They will remind you of some of PUBG's most notorious features. So it's going to be exciting seeing them play today. We also said yesterday, right? It's all going to be about the gadgets that I've just talked about. That's where the real skill comes into play at Project Arc. Kind of using the different characters, which we're going to get to in a minute as well, combining them, using each other's gadgets together, mixing them up, and kind of using that to win rounds. That's what Project Arc, at least up until this point, has been about. And
Yes.
Exciting rounds yesterday have proven to us that might just be a winning formula.
There's a couple of obviously differences here. There isn't just one character per team as well. There's no attacking and defending characters. There's the same characters. We can have a quick look. We don't know if we're able to get through all of them, but I will bring them up on your screen. Every character obviously has a set of weapons. You can't really customize and configure them, but you can change things like the nades, the shields, etc. So there are deployable shields. There's blue zone nades, as Felix mentioned as well. One of the characters that has a blue zone nade. One thing I was actually really impressed with, actually we saw early on that teams started stacking up characters using one of the traits. So like we've got Heinz, who has this sort of camera that he can drill through the wall, and obviously then you get to see on the other side where those players, and visualization actually comes really into sort of key here, because you can identify the players, and then the blue zone nades being stacked up. Apex been pretty good. We've got obviously Buddy with the AWM, very, very strong. And there's another one of those, obviously we mentioned about Heinz with the camera that goes through the wall. This is another one though, Buddy. We've seen it quite a few times, Felix, yesterday. Those players launching out the drones and getting that kind of visualization around the corner that you kind of wouldn't get or expect.
Yeah, exactly. But Buddy, interesting enough, has been used throughout all of these matches yesterday, and that's surprising because that AWM, especially in these clutch scenarios that we had, shouldn't really be favorable, but it had its moment. And especially in a top-down view, we wouldn't really expect there to be a sniper and to really have it make impact, but it really does. I'm excited to see how that's really going to come into play as well. And yeah, you obviously you especially were talking about these drones yesterday. That is one piece of utility that gives you so much advantage, whether that be offense or defense. Actually, it's just so much information being gathered as well. And we said it yesterday too, right? It's going to be about the gadgets, and it's going to be about communication and information. Same thing goes for PUBG, obviously, and it's not really different here. You spot a player with the drone, especially. It's a lot of information going your way, and you might be able to figure out where the attackers are going relatively early on.
Yeah. That is going to be key. Let's get into things. This is the first game. So as I mentioned it before, it is an attack and defense, though. So it is a best of 5. So obviously, if the team goes to 3-0, that's done and dusted. There's no coming back from here. So obviously, preparation stage, the defense team able to kind of work their way, try and get either defensive made. So we're going to see barricades going up, we see barbed wire going down, and obviously the teams finding themselves in a position for that. Then we're going to obviously see and unleash the attacking team as they do count down. They've got to then pick their location of where they start. Obviously, we can get an idea here. And this time, the team stacking up all in one area. Actually, slight 3-2 split, actually, but very much on that east side.
So yeah, you can see already right now, just from the top-down view, you have different spawn options as the attacker. Right on the attacking side, you can decide on which kind of angle you want to spawn in and which kind of path of attack you want to take. Yesterday, interestingly enough, in the scrims we've seen, the most successful strategy has been kind of through up, I'd say. Break down all the doors, and then maybe switch to another entry point and do the same thing there to kind of confuse the enemy. But so far, I don't think that's going to give us enough experience to really tell whether or not that is indeed the best option. Klim is going to open things up though, and Oza immediately hits the ground. That's the first strike on the defensive team, and we've very rarely seen comebacks happen on the attacker side, unfortunately. It really needs a close scenario now.
Yeah, you mentioned this quite a bit yesterday. Very, very quick analyst from you, actually, that the favor definitely felt like it was from the defending team, the defense side of things, because they weren't getting really the ability to come back. Now, that might be an element of the game. We're learning the meta, but the defense at the moment stacked up, repositioning, trying to stop out this attack. But the downside now for this attacking force, though, Felix, is they're all on one side. So once this team figures out, they've got a few angles. It's about communication. Great shots, though, come in. That P90 with that med kick really played effect. Now, while Young, another good player who picked up multiple kills in a single game, looking to try and drive forward at the moment.
Artix shuts down Tiska as well. He tried to cross that door, or rather that barrier of defense, but unfortunately he really couldn't make it. And just like that, it's 30 seconds left, and Kalavi, the last one standing. I think he's been spotted out before, so I think they have a pretty good idea on where his whereabouts should be. You can tell from now it's just about breaking down doors, making sure they win this round under any and all circumstances. And I'm surprised how passive they're playing this from this point onwards. It's 13 seconds. They might as well run in. There's no... At least as far as I'm concerned, there shouldn't be any repercussions of dying this late into the round for the defensive side. And you can tell Shade doesn't even need to. Picks up this third frag and wins his team the round. That's a good start. And we said it as well, you said it a second ago, defensive starts seem to be the play here.
Yeah. There's no points for kills, right? So I'm quite surprised from both parties, actually, attack and defense, just to try and close it out. You have a limited amount of time to go plant. It's not an infinity amount of time, but obviously with one final play, you're not going to lose anything by going forward. I suppose from an attacking point of view, down numbers, maybe you're trying to hope for maybe a couple of players to fall on their sword. But from the defensive, they did not lose their game plan. They were set for match. They have got the first point underneath their belt. They've got another round as defense before we do swap over towards the other side at the moment. But for now, they're going to go for that preparation stage. Barbed wire coming up. It's going to really slow down these players. Not too many barricades, though, this time. There's only a few really round for the B, and they've not punched a hole between B and A.
All so far. There's the most interesting thing for me about this map is that both of these bomb sites are like right next to each other. You can see the A bomb site is just next door to the B bomb site, and before I keep on talking about the layout of the map, we do have a really aggressive push now coming in from the T side. This is what we saw yesterday, especially. T side, or rather the attacking side, grouping up on at least one angle of the map, making sure they deny the CT side any early aggression, making sure no one's really dying without getting traded.
It's really interesting for me, Felix. You see, they've used the shield to actually stop that crawl through, that little gap that you can duck under and play into. For those that are new to obviously watching this game, obviously this is the player's view. This is how they're playing, obviously, but on their character top down. So there's an element of visualization when it comes down to how they look. They can swing their mouse around. If they're aiming down the sight, it kind of tracks as well, just to guys keep you up to date with how the controls work. Because I had a few questions on the YouTube yesterday after we were doing the screams, actually the controls. You kind of got your normal keyboard controls. You've got your mouse, which can obviously move things around. But if you're aiming down the sight, you get a look down. But this is about, if your team can see it, you can see it. If you can't, it blacks out. That's a good dark and grey areas. Basically, no one has line of sight onto that area.
Perfect smoke now. Deep down this little corridor that we've been talking about. But little do they know, they still have a double stack on the other side. And Clem and Ibaka just trying to bait them inside, because as soon as Clem has contact, Ibaka's just going to peek around the corner and that window frame, and unfortunately for the attacking side, only one can enter that room at one single time. Oza, he tried to do it, but I think that was a gas grenade launcher that immediately hits the floor. That one is really dangerous. We saw it being used a couple of times yesterday as well. And a couple of times, actually, it's been resulting in frags. Whether or not that really was wanted or not, that's a whole different question. But it did result in a couple of frags yesterday as well. Pixelic, for example, was the one that used it the most.
Yeah. Yes, and to add to it, defensive. A lot of people using drop down as a defensive character, able to drop down out. So you can see being used in the offensive now. They are trying to make the push down to the final player. They've got it match set, though. They've got another point on the board. That's 2 now for the defensive side. We're going to swap over, but 1 more on the board, and that means this team will be taking the first game this evening. But for now, they've got to try and see if their attacking game plan is as strong as that defensive, as they will now be sitting in the wings waiting for this team to set up.
2-0 means it's going to be match and map point, ladies and gentlemen, in this best of 1. Just 1 round is all they need. This was a good defense as well. Once again, we saw this a couple of times in the scrims. The play to really work that defense side seems to be just delaying as much as possible and kind of force them into one of the bomb sides. And you can tell there's just so many good defensive angles that if you don't really grab that first initial entry fact, no one really seems to have an answer for that. Because afterwards, you're an angle down, and it's really tough to find one. As long as you don't hit a couple of nasty nades, it's really tough to find without being traded yourself. So really, really important to get these 2 first points on the board for them.
Yep. We've got 3 on site. We've got kind of 2 roamers at the moment. We have a 3-2 combo from the attacking side. So definitely more favour from that west, coming in from outskirts. One of the key players, or one of the key characters we was talking about, is the one with the hammer. Obviously, we are looking at Shade 1. That hammer is so critical, even from a defensive point of view, able to sort of breach through the A versus B. These teams haven't done it again today, but we did see a lot happen. But the speed of transition, even if it's barricaded, you're able to kind of breach in. So if you can take that character quite early, it really has an impact, especially from an offensive point of view. It really slows them down. They've got to take the doors, they can't sort of breach through the walls, and they've got to take their time. Now making the push, Conades will be coming out, so the information now being said, and we see the tags coming up, both parties getting the tags right, really understanding. But Artix, he's on a little bit of an off angle here, and we saw a few people get caught though, FedEx, when they were looking one way and got double tapped in the back.
Yeah, but I really like what the attacking side is doing right here, Artix. I mean, it's not surprising to me, right? They've been the most successful team yesterday, by far, and they're doing it again. On T side especially, they really know how to work kind of both angles of this map, right? Attacking from the right-hand side, grouping up there, while still having Artix in such a dangerous spot. That's so close to the bomb side without in any kind of danger. It's just there to delay and you know, make a little bit of noise for the CT side to kind of shift that attention. But I think we're going to have another couple of frags in any second now. Tuska's trying to hold it. Clint pushes her out the corner. It's big damage, though, towards the defending side. But they are slowly but surely being crept up on.
I love that from Tisk. We actually had the sight for the defenders. You couldn't quite see the players. We were playing peekaboo both times. He's put a few on the board. He's really crystallized, but it's down to a 3 versus 3. But they're breaching their way in. It is, the bomb is on site. Down to a 3 versus 1, actually. But they've got to get that blinded. Did I know from behind? The shot's coming in. Picks up 1. Looking for the med kit. Has picked up the med kit. So it'll be back to a 2 versus 1. But he was crouched down. I don't think Shade knew there was a second player in there as he's looking to breach back into Site 8.
I really love this. He breaks down the wall, potentially tries to get another angle. Kalabi jumps into the room now. He's being spotted out. Kermatori's nowhere there to trade him, but Kalabi makes it out of the room. That's perfect. He's got the bomb as well. 3 seconds, though. That's not going to be enough time, and Kermatori surely is going to pick this one up. Doesn't even need to.
No.
Because he runs out of it. And there it goes. That's the first point on the board. But it was a hard-fought win. Yeah. A really hard-fought win. It's what we expected from the defensive side.
But they're going to do it again, right? And you have said on especially this map here, we are seeing sort of the favour going towards that defensive side. It might have slipped there. I think for me, Shade, if he was standing up, he would have maybe picked up Shade. Shade would have obviously picked up the player and obviously would have gone down to a 1 versus 1. That makes it a little bit different. Maybe go for the kill, clutch it up that way. But he's crouched. He was medding. Didn't know he was there. Good movement back around. I like that he sort of exposed that wall, re-entered into another, generating himself a new angle, but it wasn't to be in the case. 2-1 on the board now as we are back in that preparation stage here for round number 4.
Couple of barbed wires coming out. As you can see, all of them preparing. You have all these barricades, in case you haven't seen the game yet. All these doors around these inner corridors, and you can barricade them. So you can yourself craft these wooden barricades that you see are being destroyed in the midst of it. And then you can also reinforce them to add additional structure. This is what these first 20 seconds of the defense side are being used for. That and obviously the barbed wires and the other gadgets that are in play. And this time around, all 5 players, though, starting off at the same spawn location.
Yeah, again, I love that. Within a day, Felix, we've already seen him putting shields and blocking entry points. That's got to be a pixel thing. We've seen him been cheeky, do things like that before. This time it's really stopped artists coming down. It's going to expose the angle. They have to, for me, just give that one up, move its way around. There comes this line of sight come through. So blue team trying to figure out exactly where they are. We've seen him explode. That blue bit on the floor, guys and girls, well, that's for the blues visualization. If one of the red team are in there, when the attackers are in there, they are going to see them. So they need to try and get out as quickly as can. Same goes for the other side. If we see anything red on the floor, the red grid, that means, though, it is either a gadget, a line of sight that the attacking team in this case has been picked up. There we go. They have picked up another place, had to maybe re-sish, but they've gained information. The defending team holding tight to their game plan at the moment.
Good pickup now from Kermatori. Takes down Artix. That's a massive, massive pickup. Nate comes in. He might try and take down these barriers, but I think Spicy was just about to dodge them, and maybe he's even going to go for an aggressive push. He could catch Ali Parku. Parku throws in the nade. This is a good one as well. Oof. Takes him down to about 25 HP. This is massive. With 40 seconds on the clock, Kermatori has once again got a pretty good angle to delay this further.
Yeah, and he's got the med kit as well. Another nade comes through, trying to clear those shields. Spicy really on the defense. Damage was done, though. He got him down to sort of 1s, but he was able to go for that med kit because they've got the ability on their team. Once he's one able to lay down the med, he's able to provide that for the team. As the other team's now trying to hold off the door. Entry points, though, are limited now for the guys. Spicy picks up 1. He gets the bomb. He goes for the second, but he has to duck his way back in. Actually, I think he has corrected the second, though. It's down to the final player. They've got to make the push through. They draw it up, though. 2-2 now for our first game. We've got to go through for the match point, though. But we're going to swap back. Round number 5. Talk about a comeback, Felix. And it's the first time we've seen it.
The very first time, indeed. Usually, especially a team like Artix, right? When they start off on the defensive side, they get up to, oh, this is not the type of game for them to lose, but apparently it is now. Surprised by how slow that attacking side really has been. And Kermatori in that round especially as well, making a big, big difference. I think he was lined up and he was able to shoot them through the wall based off of the information that he was given by his teammates. So that he knew the rest of the attacking side was in that corridor. He shoots once, gets a frag, shoots another, gets another.
Yeah.
So That must have been the information given to him by his teammate. But great either way, great setup, great team play. I'm really surprised. We haven't really seen, as you said, we haven't really seen this yesterday in the scrims.
And don't forget, guys, if you want to get more information about the game, get yourself on Steam. Project Arc in chat. That'll give you a link towards Steam. Hit that wish list. You'll be first notified when the game is ready for public. We've been blessed. I think there's only got 70 codes out at the moment, obviously, where people are playing it. But get yourself on there at the moment. And more importantly, get on the Discords as well. Project Art's got the Discord, great community in there, a load of conversation, load of input as well to the game as well. So keep it coming. There's a lot of hype about this game at the moment. I've been blessed to be able to play it, and I must admit, I'm more eager. I got back from doing one of my chores on Saturday, and I was like, is anyone online? Can we play some games?
First smash comes through. Spicy slowly but surely creeping up on Wild Young now. We set this little trap, to be honest, there in the corner of the room. But I think he will spot it out. He tries to run back. Runs straight into the drone, but I think he's going to make it out alive just barely. And Ibaku, same goes for him. Might just have himself the perfect opportunity for him for a gas grenade launch, and that's exactly what he does. Lots of damage being dealt now. This is going to be tough for the attacking side.
Well, younger player we saw being actually quite creative yesterday. It was that one sort of held an off ankle, let players sort of pass their way through before picking up 1 or 2 kills. So expect him to be a high kill count again today. Second team, though, looking to take this control. No team at the moment got a confirmed kill just yet, but look, 3 from the attacking side, down numbers, and they haven't got the ability to deploy those meds at the moment, unlike when we got the defensive player, Shade One and Wild Young, able to put meds down and get that regen, but doesn't matter when Tiska puts down the first kill, but they are falling like dynamos. 2 will go down. It's down towards a 3 versus 4. Correct that. It's now a 4 versus 2, as it looks like it's falling apart here for the attacking team.
It looked like it a second ago, and then that Blue Zone grenade came in. Wild Young pushes him, while Kalabi puts out the nade, and that's a perfect timing. And Oza suddenly finds himself surrounded from both sides. And ladies and gentlemen, we do have ourselves a third victory going the way of Arctics. And that's what we said, right? Starting off on the defense is such a massive, massive advantage going into these games, because as we've seen, it's really tough. Once you're a player down on the attacking side, it's really tough to bring it back.
Yeah, it is difficult, but they did come back. That's the first time we've seen that. First time we've seen a team dig deep. Yesterday, for those that joined in for the scrims, you can obviously go back and watch the VODs. It was like our 3-0 or 3-1 games. This was the first time that we had to go towards that round 5 to pick the decider. But point on the board, don't forget you can keep up with all the teams by typing exclamation mark leaderboard into chat. That will take you to where all the leaderboards are. They get them updated with the win, loss, and draws. And for those that have just jumped in, to remind you of the format, though it is a group stage, we are doing best of ones. There are 5 rounds in each from an attacking and defending, and obviously the teams will be picking off or flipping the coin of who's going to be starting off on either piece. Now, the main thing, though, obviously, as we will flip things round, though, on other maps and other teams, there's a lot to take in. There's a lot to take away. There's a lot of characters, FedEx, and I still feel like teams are not quite settled on who they want to play and the combinations, really, when it comes down to an attacking and defensive.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important and most interesting aspects of this as well, right? How do these characters, these 7 characters that we have in game as well, which are surely going to be expanded, how did these work together in the best way possible? And I was really surprised yesterday in the scrims. That was something that was new to me as well. You can duplicate these characters, right? You can have 2 or maybe even 3, as far as I'm concerned, maybe a whole team of them at the same time. So we saw a couple of times, for example, collision, right, being used more than just once. And I think if you have a character like that working together, maybe even together holding down a bomb site, that could be really, really dangerous. And I want to see that happen once more. So far, it's not really happened in the scrims, and it's not really happened up until this point today either, right? I'm surprised. No real character has really outshined everyone else. And that's surprising, because usually, right, a game releases, you have some sort of character that's always supposed to be a little bit unbalanced. But this hasn't happened yet, and this is a good sign as well that I really want to touch on, right? No one seems to have too big of an advantage over anyone else.
This is going to come down to characters. I think we saw some teams sort of settling down on who they want to play. Collision obviously is a fan favorite. This is what I do want to mention as well. Heinz spoke about him, and we saw actually a lot of usage from him in that first game. It's that drone. I'm kind of feeling that drone is such a key use And I'm still undecided whether it's for an offensive or defensive play. As I said to you yesterday, I kind of dropped down, and we can have a look at her in a second. I feel like she's very much stronger for a defensive play, but actually, Hines I think has advantages on both. The ability to kind of get that drone through the wall. It takes a bit of time, so there's a sound cue. So there is an element of time where these players can kind of spread out and move and get themselves hidden away. But an effective Hines followed up by a Blue Zone nade feels like a damaging combo, because we know that Blue Zone nade does hit quite a bit of damage. Now, if you've got the med, yeah, by all means, you can kind of back away. And while we saw that he took some Blue Zone damage in that last round, was able to med Felix. But actually, if a team can use Hines correctly, I think he might be a key character. But I'm still undecided whether he's an attacking or defending favoured.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yes, he's got that information play. On the other hand, we have so many characters that, deal straight up damage.
Mm.
And I feel like a gas grenade launcher, for example, has up until this point at least has had so much more impact than these penetration drones. But then again, I also think it's really just too new of a game to really judge. Like, no one,
Yeah.
let's be honest, even someone who's put in all the time up until this point hasn't really figured out the game yet. It's just really too early to tell. And yeah, maybe he's gonna be a key character in some of these lineups. But up until this point, I really don't remember too many rounds where the penetration drone has really made the difference, which surprises me as well. Because I would have expected it to be the same way that you just said it was, right? That it's going to be about all these drones and information play. But it really seems to be that as soon as you figure out where everyone's attacking from, information doesn't really play too much of a role anymore. Maybe that's just due to the fact that no one really seems to have lurking down, and maybe all these doors kind of hinder yourself from any kind of surprise factor either. Or it's just down to them really not having these characters figured out yet. But either way, I feel like gas grenade launchers and maybe grenades have had made much more impact than some of these drones.
I feel like Fnatic has been one that has had a bigger impact though for me, because the med kits that deployed have been key. They really have been key. We saw it again while Young took some blue zone damage there. He was holding an angle. The second time he was taking some shots where he was holding the door, he was able to kind of dip back, get that utility on the ground. That full med kit does take a bit of time to deploy, but he had those double shields up as well, so difficulty for players to kind of work their way through. So Fnatic, and again, it's been one that we've kind of seen maybe one or two players actually in a team use that same person, use the same as Felix, as you mentioned before. It's worth mentioning now, obviously, we are going to be going in for game number 2. The best way to see the bracket actually is for you guys to type exclamation mark leaderboard in chat. But we are going to stay with our winning team from round number 1, but we are going to be adding in Fuzzface's team. They actually also won their game number 1. So it's kind of the next battle, round number 2 for us, is going to be of the winners from round number 1, which I think is going to be a key matchup. And we saw Fuzzface yesterday, didn't we, Felix? They were very, very strong. Strong in the TDM. They controlled really well, but also arguably strong most of their games, apart from that last one.
I think it wasn't that exactly the same teams as well. I think
Yeah.
that Scrimban was exactly the lineup that we're going to see right now. And we said that was probably the closest game that we've seen the Scrims, right? Both these teams very up to level in terms of their game experience and also obviously in terms of their individual strength. Let's be honest, all of these gamers are I mean, professionals in their own right. So I want to see a close game now. Could it get any closer than the one we've just witnessed? Barely. But if it's anything just like that, I'm very excited for it. But the one thing, once again, that I'm trying to look out for is maybe a couple of new characters. We haven't seen Collision today, have we? Which is surprising to me once again, because when I played, that was the character that kind of stuck out to me the most. I just feel like having that one-shot potential is so incredibly deadly, but apparently no one really seems to think that way, which, yeah, once again, is surprising to me.
Only because you killed me with it multiple times. That's why. That's the only reason you think he's got the meta. But you're right. He's a strong defensive character, and with the shotgun, obviously, is quite impactful, especially holding angles. Let's talk about shooting now and the mechanics, because there was some, as I said, questions on YouTube yesterday about this. Obviously, with a top-down point of view, with us looking down on top of a player, and this is how the point of view of the players are, they're unable to kind of track the head side. They're unable to sort of pinpoint accurate, get the shots on. They're reliant on a line, obviously, which they can see where the line of sight's going. They still have to control a bit of recoil, FedEx, but they've got a scroll wheel where they've got to potentially go for headshots, potentially go for body shots, or opt to go for the crouch and do the same as well. So there's kind of an extra settings or extra level to this game because you don't have that point of view.
Yeah, exactly. So you essentially have two shooting modes, as I like to call them. You can shoot anything below head level, and you can shoot on head level. So head level would make more sense if you were shooting at someone that's standing up, but as soon as someone crouches, you obviously can't hit him anymore. Which is what happened when we won you yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You were standing in a corner right in front of me, not even looking at me. But actually, I think you were
Embarrassed me
prone
like
and
that,
crouching.
Alex. I knew you was there. I
Yeah.
sensed your presence. No, I knew.
But I shot at you and nothing happened. I was so confused for a second until I realized, wait, you can switch the shooting mode and you can shoot as someone's anything below head level, which would make sense if you're crouched. So that's not only something that you have to keep in mind when shooting someone, but also when being shot at, right? You can switch your kind of body stance.
Yeah.
And that would potentially make the difference if you're playing against someone who's equally high skilled, who's obviously got maybe even the weapon advantage on you. And you switch stance, you switch shooting mode. Once again, might give you the frag.
This is the thing. This is why we was talking about this yesterday. I took a crouch. I got that weird twitch where I hit crouch all the time, and then I done the 180 spin. But because you hadn't corrected your line of sight, and obviously you didn't learn, I didn't tell you. Not my fault, by the way. But obviously you fell subject to a crouch spinneroozy. Anyway, two new teams. Obviously we're staying with one. I will say two new teams, one new team, as our Fuzzface team is going to come in. They're on the attacking side though. A little bit of a different pick on the characters. They've actually opted to go all for one apiece, whereas that's the defensive side. They're going for the gas launchers. Obviously Wild Young again going for those meds, and Shade One going for those meds as well. So different kind of mix up from these teams. Looks like Fuzzface, though, they might be settling themselves down into kind of a, this is your role, this is your character. We'll have to wait and see. This is obviously round number 1, but it's game number 2.
Yeah, drop down in play here twice on the defense. Surprising to me, but then again, we have seen it come out from these guys time and time again, and they're setting themselves up for a little bit of a trappy. This could be perfect for the defense side. Then again,
Great night.
It is a massive gas grenade launcher coming in together with that drone. Pixelic is going to find himself the first one. Shakedown goes down just like that. We said Pixelic might be dangerous to any defense, and well, he chimes in, takes down Klim, James as well, and each picked themselves up a frag, and suddenly, just like that, it's all falling apart.
Oh, it's gone back the other way. They were able to hold. Arctic's able to try and hold one there, isolating them fights. They've got to try and hold. It's a 2 versus 2, but the difference being here is the position. Fuzzface and Pix are able to try and tie themselves up. Great nade. He bounces it off. Great shots. He forces the swaps to the side. Fuzzface puts it down to a 2 versus 1. Unable to try and get the med back. Well, he's pushing forward. Aggressive it goes, but it goes to Fuzzface. Round number 1, though, was aggressive from both teams. Great use of utility. Great use of those nades, picking up multiple kills and applying a pressure where it's needed.
Who else to pick himself up a triple kill in the very first round here than Pixelic?
The legend.
Massive. The legend. massive frags. Slight ping advantage on these guys as well, but only just slight enough. I don't think they're going to complain about that one. But yeah, 3 frags, finds himself 250 damage. Good start to the round, and that's dangerous, especially because we set these guys not to be underestimated on the defense as well. I don't think they've lost the defense round yesterday, which is absurd to think about. With them now picking up the first one, it's not going to make it any easier for Artix and these guys. Even though the setup was perfect, the reap was perfect as well. They knew exactly where all of these guys were coming from. But James surprising them, coming in through the back lines. Pixelic hitting a couple of nutty shots. It all falls apart just like that.
But that James, though, was doing that yesterday. He's such a creative player. He's kind of that one guy you can go, right, okay, there's 4 of us and James, the superstar. You go and, like, be creative, cause some angles, because if they're not looking that way, and with a force coming through like it is now, they kind of stack up and push through, all guns, all eyes, all information goes into kind of that hard breach area. James can be creative, Pixel then holding that damage down, putting the numbers on. They are going for the breach now, but they've actually got information already. Defensive play has moved back, but the same character selection back-to-back games. No changes. They think the game plan worked for the defensive side. Well, at least from a character selection point of view. Let's see if they can dig deep and maybe pull one back on the board.
Good nade coming in. Wow, this is planned. They have this... Yep. Are you kidding me? They know where to throw the nades in order to take down some of these walls. That's crazy preparation coming out from Pixelic and obviously the rest of them. It's just like that. They've got the execution down on the A side. They get the decryptor down. And this is the first time we've seen this, really. A 5-on-5 retake scenario.
Yeah. Great plant that. Actually, nades, first and foremost, to blow through the holes to be able to get the visualization. Smokes on the defense, and also the gas nades on the defensive. Now they're going to try and dig deep. There goes one, there goes two, but it's in the defenders. Shade push through, but Gaxy's got the angle. Long shot will go through. Final player now for him. He has to be creative. He's been spotted, though. Information, all guns favoring. It's a 2 versus 1, but the attackers clean up again. Pinpoint accurate execution when it came down to game plan. Fuzzface team looking hyper strong, though, on our day. Technically, number 2 or day number 1 when it comes down to the tournament.
Crazy. Pixelic picks himself up 2 more frags. Ups himself to 460 damage. Almost doubles it again with our very first grain round that we've seen. And I mean, I gotta be honest, at this point, I'm not believing anymore. I'm not believing anymore in Artix and his squad. It was way closer yesterday, but that seemed really coordinated, from certain nades being thrown to certain positions to open up walls to sightlines being covered for each other. That just looked really strong from start to finish from Pixelic and his squad, or rather Fuzzface from his squad. We're now starting out on the defense side. This is different to what we've seen yesterday as well. A lot more passive in the early stages, a lot more reinforcements being made. Let's see if it works.
Well, if you think you've got the game plan to take down a team like Fuzzface, don't forget, get yourself on that wish list. Exclamation mark Project Arc in chat. They'll give you a link to Steam, and make sure you smash that button. Get on the wish list, though, and see if you can take down teams like our PUBG invited partners, though. Here comes a breach, obviously swapping itself over, but it is really down to the attacking force. Now, they have to get a win if they want to stay in, if they want to keep that. But great shots, though. A Pixel puts Well Young as he leapfrogs his way back out towards the spawn point. He goes down, and it's not looking strong, no, as they are attacking side, losing the players down to a 2. This might be game, set, and match, though, for Fuzzface.
Yeah, it looks that way. Marzalek, oh, to make matters even worse, hits the AWM shot, and now it's just Tibako left alive. He's got Gaxi on his left-hand side. He should be low, but he just cannot hit the shots, and just like that, it's a clean win coming out from Fuzzface and his squad. James, Pixelic, Marzalek, Gaxi, all of these guys have died twice at the most. And even that, I think that was only one play. I think most of them have only died a single time during that match. Just a great performance all around. I want to say, very balanced performance from that team as well. Yes, Pixelic had his moments, but everyone kind of chimed in. Everyone had each other's backs. And we said it yesterday, that's going to be the team to beat, or at least one of these teams that we have to take a closer look at in terms of making it to grand finals.
I actually felt like that matchup was going to be stronger. I'll be honest with you. I felt like that match there was going to be that kind of 5th round. I thought it was going to go backwards and forwards a little bit. But the execution from Fuzzface's team, like, you got to give them a round of applause for that. The grenades to blow through the wall, that gave them the line of sight that they needed. They picked up kills from there. That pushed the defensive team back around the other way. They had the line of sight, though, as they were holding through. Pixel being creative. Double smokes went down double when it came down towards the smoke, as they will hold off the doors. Smoke grenades went onto the site. That allowed Marslet to go for the plant. And then the gas grenades, the toxic grenades, they went on to where the defending team had to push through. It put them on a pause. It allowed Marslet to get the plant. And then it was in Fuzzface's team's hand. Hey, we planted. You guys got to come to us now. You're playing our game of Project Arc, though. Let's see what you can bring. And unfortunately, though, Felix, they couldn't bring it to the table.
No. Pretty tough game. I got to be honest. I don't even know. As you said as well, I thought it was going to be closer, but I don't even know what exactly happened and how these attacking rounds have been so clean. They haven't really been close either, right? That execution on that A side, that's something we have not seen whatsoever yesterday. I don't think there was a single afterplan scenario, let alone a 5v5 afterplan scenario. That's how structured that gameplay was coming out from Fuzzface and these guys. They knew exactly where to put the smokes. They knew exactly where to put the nades. And they knew exactly where to put the bomb as well, which is something that isn't as easy, actually, the first time you're playing that game. So, amazing stuff coming out from these guys. I'm excited to see them perform now against some of these other teams, because as we said, we thought this was going to be the strongest team coming into today, but man, who knows at this point? I think things have changed once more in the last 24 hours.
Well, without boring you and going around the characters, we can revisit that again in a second. We're going to go for a quick break, because that round was so quick. We need to let the other teams kind of catch up, and we'll be back on round number 3. I'm going to put 10 minutes up. I actually think it's going to be a little bit less than that, but we'll see you guys in a few.
time for me to go. I wanna sail away. I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul. I've gotta go all the way to eternity. I will run all the way to see you. I've gotta go all the way through time and space to find my vote to see you, and I'll go. And I'll go. Lift my feet off the ground, let gravity take me up. As beautiful as it's been, it's time for me to go. I wanna sail away. I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul.
Well. Round one, round two, looking spicy for Fast to Face's team as they put back-to-back wins. But again, that second round for me was clean, executed to perfection. But the defensive team unable to sort of drill themselves back. I feel like it's part of this game where you've kind of got to play your game plan and draw that team in FedEx to play your game plan. If you get sucked into the other teams, unfortunately, you might be subject to falling short. As you said, the defensive team might be that favoured team to start with, but if anything like that team Fuzzface and these execution plan go to perfection, unfortunately, the defensive team's got nothing else to do but try and play Fuzzface's game, and that last round, anything to prove, it was nothing to be had.
Yeah, that's always the thing, right? When these new games launch, it seems to be that the defensive side is always having the advantage, but only up until this point where everyone kind of figures out how the game really works, how to use the gadgets in the right way possible, and how to use that time limit that you've been given as well, right? To the best of your ability, right? Knock down all the doors you can, get as many sightlines as possible, and then use the gadgets, because these have been the rounds that, you know, where this has been done, that really have worked out in the best way for the attacking side. And as I said, until this happens, until everyone really figures out the game in and of itself, it's always going to have that advantage on the defensive side. And someone apparently has figured that out, right? And that is a fast-paced team, at least better than the defensive side in what we've just witnessed in that recent game. So I'm excited to see the next game coming up. Maybe if anyone's prepared as much as these guys have, we'll see another great attacking side because, yeah, scrims have not gone that way. Really haven't.
No, and for those that might just been joining in, what the hell is going on? Where's the PUBG action? Because these are all PUBG people. Yes, there are PUBG partners that have been invited to play the new game that's being created by Krafton. Game is Project Arch. If you want to find out more about it, well, the best way to do that is type !Project Arch in chat, and obviously that'll give you a link towards Steam. Hit the wish list though, and obviously you will get the first notification when you can download the game. I'd also recommend they join in their Discord. Discord, load of great community, load of information going in and out there as well, where you're able to sort of share your thoughts and feelings about the game, and also go, hey, please let me play, please let me play. I've seen it live on Steam. There's a few of us that have been playing. I must admit, it has been fun. But I love the speed that these PUBG partners are learning the game, developing the game. One thing that I've noted, Felix, though, between today and yesterday is those deployable shields. Yes, the shields have been used as a sort of a place to hide behind to get rid of the line of sight. If you go see, as the teams don't really know the maps 100% just yet. But today we've seen it being used to block doors, to be able to block those kind of crouching positions where these teams can kind of crouch their way through. So I like that these teams and players are starting to be creative when it comes down to the utility they have in their back pocket.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be used that much, to be honest, because ultimately there's so many crouching positions you can hide yourself behind in almost any of these rooms. So why give yourself a position that everyone's gonna expect, right? But then again, what it really does as well, if you put it right in front of a door, they're gonna have to destroy that before jumping in.
Yeah.
Either that or they crouch on top of it, right? Jump, crouch on top of it, and they're kind of an easy target. So I actually didn't think of that. It's kind of another way of you know, getting a barricade that might be used to your advantage on top of that as well into the game. So great stuff. Yeah, we've seen especially Fastface's team really use that close around the bomb sites as much as they can, and so far it's really worked out. It's got a lot of HP as well. It takes a lot of time to really break it down, and that's more time that obviously can be used for the defense.
That is one of the key things with those shields. And when they're taking the shots on it, guys, it's visible. You can see it. You can see that little yellow bar coming up like the walls. You can see it on both sides. Oh, that's taking damage. There must be someone there. And it takes not just one clip, but multiple clips to be able to get through that deployable shield. So even if they don't try and shoot their way through, you're doing enough to change the pathing. And I feel like if you've got the communication down, you can pick up where these teams are coming in. And all you need to do is set up the angles, be able to get the gunshots down quickest to the trigger. Will go for the win. Anyway, we've got new teams on the board. Well, we'll say one new team. Let's see if they can take on the challenge, though, of Fuzzface. Now, unfortunately for the Spiggers team, they haven't, as far as they haven't got a win just yet. They have lost their round, so they've got to dig deep if they want to be able to be in a chance to get up that leaderboard, because we're on the group stages at the moment, Felix, and every team will play every team once. It is a best of one scenario, and after the end of today, the top two, well, they'll be going through to duke it out for the lion's share. The prize pool, which is just shy of 7,000 USD, whereas the rest of them will be sort of trying to get their hands on the remaining prize.
Definitely a big prize pool for a tournament.
For a game that's not even out. A game that's not even
exactly,
out.
right? for a game that's not even launched yet. That's definitely a big tournament. And I love to see it. I love to see that so many PUBG pros obviously are participating in this as well. They want to get into the action. They want to try this game. They want to see what it's all about. And it seems to me like they're having a lot of fun doing it as well. I mean, obviously, if you win, it's always fun, but apart from that, they seem prepared, which obviously means they're having fun playing this game as well. This is a great drone. I think might have just spotted out 2 players for that team, and they've obviously made their way over towards that A bomb site, and they've gotten really close already as well.
Yeah, I love this. The observers, thank you very much for the team that's doing all the observing from Bing Esports Day. We're obviously at the moment on the attackers side. This is what the team can see. As a collective, you are going, trying to get as much information as possible, trying to get those lines of sight, gathering the intel, execute a plan based upon what you see. Obviously, on the floor there, we can see that the defensive team have put out a drone. They're trying to gain the information. If a red team steps into that, the attacking team steps into that blue area, they will be exposed as well. Little bit of a slower start, though, but interesting, though, this time, we've got Collision. Collision is up here as well. One's deployed 2 of the shields, but there's a lot of utils still in the back pockets, though, from the defensive team. They've not deployed out all the shields. Are they waiting? Are they watching? Did they forget? A lot of questions to be had, but definitely a slower start to this first round.
That door gets blown off now, which might indicate that we are heading into an execution any second now. First nade comes on through. That's a blue zone grenade. It might just force Karim Tori out of position. Barely gives him enough breathing room to stand behind that cupboard. Unfortunately for James, that means he's in a position that he might not be expected at. Never mind me, James obviously's got the read on it. And just one great nade might force him out of position once more. But up until this point, once again, no frag has been made. Exactly going down.
Only one more drone remains.
Oh, that's massive.
That's a good blue zone, but they don't know. They've not checked left. They didn't check left as they breach through. Marstek takes a couple of shots, though. Does get that kill, but they've got the ambush. There goes the smoke zone there. We're going to see Marstek make the push now. There goes the back. He makes the play down. He's down to 1 shot as well. Marstek continues to pressure on, but he might go for the plant now. They've got the util in as well, but we see this execution done by Fuzzface. Plant is in, and now the game plan goes into the way of Fuzzface's team, but they've got the numbers down for 1. It's a win for them. Get around number 1. Lot slower, but Fuzzface already put in the attacking side up 1-0.
A really interesting play now coming in from Fuzzface as well. He's playing body character, so that means he's got that AWM. And look, he was holding that backline the entire time. And I think he hit one of the players who was trying to lurk around. It might have been Kalavi, actually, one of the last players to go down. He was holding that backside, looking for that lurk the entire time. And he actually caught him off guard as well. So great stuff. That's what the AWM can be used for, even in a close range map like this. Because if you hit the shot, that play is almost immediately out.
Yeah, it's a good play. Again, execute. Again, same methodology, right? Smokes go down. Drone comes in, completely clear. Pressure was applied. Gaxi made the right push, though. He had to force that team out of the area. Gave Marslet the time to put the plant down. He put the plant. Game plan goes onto there. And they're down numbers anyway, the defensive side. So only had to clean up the 1. And as you said, Fuzzface, though, fully in control. I feel like this team has got a rhythm going. Can they continue? Can they hold out? Group stages today. Pressure, learning, adapting. Obviously, all these teams will be able to go back and watch the VOD, so will they be able to adapt their game plan to come back potentially tomorrow if they are top of the table?
Second round. Before we switch sides, obviously. And this is the second time now. The third time, actually, that we've seen Fuzzface not lose around on the attacking side. Last game was exactly the same way. We said how tough it is, at least how tough it's been yesterday in all of these scrim matches to really pick yourself some rounds on the attacking side, and they just make it look so easy. Once again, great execution, grabbing lots of space. They've kind of forced that defense into the bomb sites themselves. And just like that, they might find themselves with another entry. Ozark gets caught off guard. Fuzzface, double nade to get the entry.
He knew as well. He knew. He put that pin down. He was like, there's someone there. I sense it. Double nade comes in, forced him out of the position. That second nade down the pickup, but they've now got a chink in their armor. Here comes the push through. Blue zone there goes on one side. The Jeans though throwing the nade further down the corridor, trying to pick up the additionals. James is on the tab though. Damage has been done. But not enough though to get a knock though. 4 versus 5 though, and there goes executed yet again as Fuzzface and Marstek. Well, he deploys those plants. He might not be getting the kills the rest of the team is, but he's got a job to do and he's doing it to perfection.
Look at James now. James in the back line. He catches off Hekatori. Excuse me, Karatori, obviously. And just like that, that's another great look coming in from James. The rest of the players fall down as well. It's just Spicy left standing, and his position, I think, has been spotted out as well. Marslik already positions himself towards the right-hand side, thinking about that blur potentially coming in. Doesn't even need it, because Belik shuts him down on the bomb side itself. And that's the second round that's being picked up. This is once again a flawless attacking side. These guys seem to have figured something out that no one else has.
Secret sauce, mate. Secret sauce.
Secret sauce.
He seems to have got it down. Look, as I mentioned before, obviously the last round, Master was low on the kills. Actually, this time he's got the kills. I'll tell you about my comment from before. He's putting the numbers on the board. But like I'm saying, I reaffirm my point. He has a job to do, right? Get the smokes done. He launches the smokes, and then he plants every single time. Same character, same style for the guys. We do go for a little bit of different changes now. Actually, swapping up the character, but we also have swap sides, guys. 2-0 though. Only one more round under the belt of Fuzzface's team, and that'll be another victory for them. They'll be going 3-0 when it comes down to the round. But let's see though, Spicy's team, well, they might need to find some secret sauce themselves as they're on the attacking side.
Galabi, he marks himself at a bomb site apparently. Might give us a good indication of where this is headed to now. They're all starting in landing zone, apart from Spicy, who starts at the trailer. Might play a little bit of a lurking role. You can see the distance, obviously, towards that A bomb site is just almost non-existent if you start from landing zone, which is part of the reason why it's so heavily defended on that side as well, which is part of the reason why Fuzzface and his squad used that entry in the last game as well, or favored it at the very least. I think they did go there once only, but in the game before that, it's definitely been the case that they went there another time as well. So good start, good thinking. Both of these teams seem to have lots of hours into the game already.
Pixel's going to position himself to try and give Gaxi
wow.
a little bit of support. MK done well, but he turned back. Pixel moves back into position. Lucky enough, he moved his way around. Unfortunately, Gaxi does go down. He done a 180 spin because of the exposure that came rocking through down the other side of the corridor. Pixel now takes his position. He's got the bombers. He's going to have to try and get in the defense as he launches out that smoke nade as well. That toxic nade is going to stop and give him a bit of breathing space because they can't get through there at the moment. FedEx, he can reposition, he can reset, but more importantly, he's tagged the bomb. They know the bomb's there. They know now this team has to fall on their sword and has to push, and they're down to one final player.
And just like that, once more, it's just Oza left standing. Oof. He peeks around the corner, he takes down Pixel.
Jeez.
But he gets greeted right afterwards by 2 players, and just like that, James takes him down. That's a quick 3-0 once more. I mean, these guys seem to be unstoppable, but we've said it before. We thought maybe it was a fluke. Maybe it was a fluke to some degree. One of these rounds could have gone the other way in the previous game, but this time around, nothing was really close. No clutch scenarios, nothing there to be gained for the opposing side. They just seem really dominant right now.
I feel like when they get into that rhythm, and the rhythm's not just fast, it's not just aggressive, it's not blind aggression. It's just it's quite clear they've got some kind of game plan. I think some of the key characters that obviously we are seeing from here, obviously Pixel playing this kind of drop down. I feel like that gas launcher, that smoke that's being launched out is really powerful. And again, defensive, you saw him in that last section. He used it for a breather. Hey, I know you're coming around the corner. I need to get a reload on. Let me just launch a few shots in and then launch that in. I'm able to reposition and then wait for you to come a little bit later. I think that was key. We saw the first time we saw collision coming through as well. But for me, the team are spread out. You mentioned Fuzzface, didn't you? Using Buddy on the back line, that AWM, but the drone and how critical. When they're ready to go for the plant, Felix, they just launch that drone into play. They know the room's now clear. They go for that plant with Marslek, and then he's able to get that down and get out.
Yeah, exactly. They also seem to be the only team that has really figured out when to use smokes, and they almost exclusively only use it when they've got the plant down or when they're about to put the crypto down. So it's really interesting how that works, right? Because no one else seems to really use gadgets as efficiently as they do. And in a game where it's not really down to mechanical skill, and instead it's really just down to decision making, utility usage, and communication, you would expect that to be kind of a level playing field for everyone involved. But these guys, they seem to have the job on everyone time and time again, no matter what game launches. And I think there's a reason why we have so many active pro players in their team as well.
Yeah, multiple blue nades being used as well. Apex obviously is that character that's being used for that. James obviously is using, and we've seen it effectively, especially coming from behind, with the Uzi. Hines, he's obviously got that drone. We've spoken a lot about the drone as well, but that Uzi was quite effective, especially for a player like James coming behind. You've got to remember, line of sight is so key. I feel like a lot of individuals and teams are getting drawn into areas where they kind of all lock in, and they sometimes forget the roam. And maybe it comes down to kind of, actually, hold on, like, we've not had the player count correct. We've not got the team count correct. So there are potentially more roamers. We know there's 2, maybe 3 there, but where's the 4th type of thing? Like, where's that 5th player? And then I think that will come with time. I feel like James at the moment has been doing really well, especially with Hines at the moment. He's rotating his way around, able to kind of use that player's ability, and the speed of the Uzi is huge. Now, our next round is going to be Brexco, one of your favorites, and Fuzzface. Both these teams, though, have gone 3-0. So maybe this is the clash of the clans of the teams that actually we might have been expecting in that round number 2.
I think so. We didn't get to see Bresco's team yesterday, so we've obviously haven't been able to look at all these teams. But I think that's another team that I'm expecting to just be really, really strong right off the bat as well. These guys are definitely having obviously plenty of experience, and they're the types of players as well. Almost exclusively, that entire team is made out of those players like that just really figure out games incredibly fast, and they're the types of players as well to kind of find loopholes at the start of a game as well. So I'm thinking maybe we're going to see some creative stuff from these guys. So yeah, Rex versus Fuzz should be the next match coming on up. I'm expecting one thing's for sure. I'm expecting. Look, this is tough because you haven't seen Bresco squad, right? So we don't really know how their attacking side works. But one thing is for sure, I'm not expecting Fastface's squad to go clean again on the attacking side. Not against a team like this.
You think they're going to be able to put a bit of a defense up for it?
Yeah, for sure.
Be interesting. It is a strong team, and we know like players like it's Chris as well. Koa's there, also the coach as well. Breck's strong player as well. All as well can be quite creative. I just don't know if any team's got that winning edge just yet. But we haven't seen him. But I actually, one thing I do like, and you mentioned it in that pre-show area, is that you're not limited to one character for one team. And as I mentioned before, whether it's attacking or defending. Looks like Fuzzface, though, his team has a set role. So I kind of like that. Does a team need to stack up? Do we need to see more collisions, maybe? Do we need to see more of those shotguns coming into play? Is there an answer to a team? Will we see sort of standoff character versus character? This team is using this character. The defense against this character is to use this character. I don't think we've quite seen that yet. Obviously, the game is still pre-release, so this is very, very early access. Looking, and obviously, thank you very much for Krafton to putting on and the Bing Esports obviously putting things together to be able to put this event. So I still think that will develop in time. But these guys and girls need to think on the tip of the toes to go, actually, hold on. If this is the strongest team that we've come across at the moment, we've got to fight them again tomorrow, potentially in the group stage, however you land up on the leaderboard. And I think it could be these two teams that we might see pushing for that final. If one of them get it wrong now, they will potentially have 24 hours to maybe review and correct. And is it a character selection point? There's lots of variables that need to be considered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you said something really important there. They've got 24 hours to figure it out, right? That's got to be the key thing. I think both of these teams are looking to potentially win this tournament, especially going 3-0, being undefeated right now. They're both feeling like they have a chance at this. Yeah. And as you said as well, right? It's 7,000, almost $7,000 being split. Almost exclusively between the top two teams. So one thing's for certain, right? They want to make it into the finals. That's got to be the grand goal for a team that's been this prepared up until this point. Anything else would be kind of, yeah, it would be kind of a letdown, to be honest, at this point already. I know it's early days, but it would be kind of a letdown already. So I'm thinking on one hand, it's going to be close, but on the other hand, I don't think we're going to see all the tricks in play already, because both these teams know they sure as hell have tricks up their sleeves, and they don't want to show it yet. This is what I'm thinking, especially a team like Bresco. They figured the stuff out. They don't want to show it just yet. That's exactly what I'm thinking going into tomorrow.
It's worth noting as well, guys, is that obviously there's like 70 keys out there globally, including like the dev team. Me and Felix have got 2 of them, right? We're not really adding anything to the pile. You can't just jump in and play with random people. You can't just jump and put some hard work in. You need a team on to play at the moment. So teams are quite limited on their practice. These guys are learning within the games themselves. So who can gather the information, who can debrief and digest what just happened in the last round. And this is what I'm liking about the game. The speed of change, the speed of utility, the speed of adaptation is high because we've got some of the best PUBG partners up here playing with their teams. And there's a lot of teams and names that everyone's going to be recognizing out in the community.
Really interesting game now, ladies and gentlemen. This should be the game of the kings, so to speak. This should be the most interesting game that we have for today. Both of these teams have gone unbeaten up until this point. Both are 3-0 in the bracket. And I think both of them are going to meet tomorrow again, deeper into the tournament.
Yes.
But it's early days, as we've said. This is just the start of it. 2 minutes now remaining for Fuzzface and his squad. They have not lost a single attacking round so far. This might change now.
Quite interesting in chat. Patrick's asking if there's an M249 for Chris. Nope, not at the moment. So yeah, are we expecting Chris to not perform because of the M249? We'd have to wait and see at the moment. So obviously, he has gone for the MK though. He's working his way through. Bubba on as well, and that team is though on the defensive first. We have said, and Felix has kind of alluded as he's been keeping stats and facts though, that the defensive has the slight advantage, especially if starting. We'll have to see if Brexco's team is able to deliver.
That's the first blue zone grenade coming out. It's Chris, takes down Gaxi though. And that's the MK in play. We were talking about weapons also, kind of reminding yourselves or being inspired by PUBG. Not inspired, maybe just identical to PUBG, obviously, with it being
Krafton.
the same developer.
Why not?
Yeah, it's Krafton. It's PUBG Corp as well, who's got the developing
Oh
rights.
my god, what a shotgun!
Be reminded, might be pretty great. There's still a collision coming in, and this is what I was hoping for, right? We were talking about it all day. I was surprised to see collision not being used more.
Yep. I'm not a fan. I don't mind him. I'm not a fan. I like drop down.
It's the reason you lost. That's exactly the reason you lost.
I got the kills first. You just learn.
Keep on playing
quicker.
drop down.
That's why you're the pro, and I do the casting.
I used to be.
Well, looks like the defense though might have to try and hold up. Pixel making the push forward though with that great character that I've just mentioned of drop downs, making the kill comes down. It's a 3 versus 3.
Combo.
They have to go for the push now. They have to get the kills.
Combo.
They have to. No, he gets taken down.
No.
Masters blue zone now. They've got to hide. They've got to hide. Surely Brex has got to find an area. He's been spotted though. He goes 1-1, and attackers pull it out of the bag. They had it in the grasp of their hands, but Fuzzface's team delivers. Attacker goes 1-0.
Crazy. That is crazy. How did they turn this around? Suddenly, everyone was being caught off guard, and no one had each other's backs as well. It was 1v1s to 1v1s to 1v1s, and that blue zone grenade, especially against Kovo as well. 1 in a million that really takes anyone down, and Kovo thought he was going to be safe in the corner, but unfortunately, he wouldn't have time to run it back, so he had to do the best with what he's got. But yeah, unfortunately, he fell apart, but then again, early days, right? Early days. I'd be surprised if they don't pick up this round. There's no way this is another 2-0 sweep, right? There's no way. They shouldn't be away.
They felt clean. It did feel clean. That blue zone, I think, unsettled them. And then the push came through. They knew at that point they had time against them because time is pretty short, mate. It is a short round. You don't have a lot of time to really kind of take your time, clear the rooms. There's an element of a rush towards this plant, right? 2 minutes 18 on the clock. Obviously, the guys are all stacked up. We're going for that kind of 4-1. James on his own, but unfortunately, James finds himself now against Brexco's team as the other guys are breaching a little bit further away in the west.
First shot comes through. It's Brexco taking down James. And this is the entry they needed, but to be reminded, they had that entry last round as well, and they still gave it up. Unfortunately, just like that, Malcolms jumps in, is being shot down. That's a quick frag, and a way too easy one at that as well, but at least the trap mine worked out. Pixel is down to 20 HP.
Yeah. I'll start trying to clear that wall. It's Chris. Should let them know there's someone on the other side. As the guy's obviously making the push round. He's going to be a bit further now. He's in the crouch area. He's going to be cautious. He stood up, so there's going to be a bit more of a sound cue there. We'll now get a visualization, I think, on Fuzzface. Whilst it does get Koho down, so numbers are going back in the favour of our team, Fuzzface. 3 versus 4. Let's see if anyone can try and dig anything out now. He's on his own. Here comes the flash. Doesn't quite get the connections. It doesn't go through. And actually, Fuzzface is flashed himself, able to go that reposition. But Haywen's able to defend, just take a breather, reset. That his guys fall on their sword. And Brexico again with the AWM, putting a second player down.
Ooh, quick headshot against Fuzzface. It's Chris. Brings back the favor to the defense side. And it's back to a 3-on-2 now. B-bomb side still seems to be where the attacking side wants to head to, but they've got about 35 seconds to make it happen. Even less to really get the bomb down as well. As they are slowly but surely creeping up. But yeah, HP advantage as well, massively in favor of that defense side.
Yeah, they've got no way of regen, have they? They haven't got the player down. Cole was that player, but they got the gun skills though. It's Chris now backing away slightly. Knows where one's coming through. 17 seconds. Got to let him fall on the sword. He's got to get that first shot on though. Brexton repositions as well. Neil shots come through. He misses though. Gaxy's able to dodge back dive. He goes run. Oh, he picks him up. He's somehow able to dig deep, but he gets shot in the back as Brexico shows us the AWM. That's a 3-pack for him. It's a win, goes back, but it nearly FedEx was thrown away at the end as they were unable to clean that Gaxy push. As they are able to put 1-on-1 on the board.
I said it before. I don't expect it to be a clean sweep, but man, it was way closer than I wanted it to be again.
Yep.
All right, it came down to the absolute wire once more. Brexico there to save the round with the AWM as well. Out of all the characters you want to have left standing, Buddy's probably the last one. The absolute last one, but he makes it work anyways. As we do switch sides. This is going to be tougher now, though, for Kobo and his squad, or rather Rexco and his squad, if it's anything like the rounds we've seen before, which, to be honest, happened to sweep as well, so we haven't really seen much on that defense side, but if it's anything like we've seen yesterday in the scrims coming out from Fuzzface and these pro players, then, man, it's definitely going to be tough once more.
Interesting not using James to kind of blow away the wall. Fuzzface was kind of just tapping. I think he wanted a crouch section to go. 4-1 split. Koa has been spotted. As looks like Gaxy's on his side though. Does clear. So all the guys have also identified the breach coming through. As he does ping, that little ping you see on the screen is Pixel. Even though there is a breach coming through. I would say that drone is better for identifying. Definitely has a longer coverage. Chris will launch a nade through. Mostek, though, is in cover. A lot better. So you will remain. I think he's been identified, though, because that little movement will give a bit of sound cue. You did mention this yesterday, Felix, about the sound. Showing that advantage, and the sound is very, very clean on this. You can hear the footsteps. Nice. If the team's not crouching their way around.
Kobo hunts for Marcelik there. It's a good push, actually. Almost takes him down immediately. But he stays alive for a second longer. Gets caught again. 25 HP down on him as well. But on the other side, it's been a quick trade. Gaxy hits the floor. And I think Pixelic is being surrounded any second. Now he still takes down Brexco. That should not have happened. Kovo finally there to trade him. But Marcelik is there on his own as well. And with the Blue Zone grenade, Markovs is being denied more space as well. Heaven and Markovs now to potentially save it. But my goodness, is that well played from the defense. Fuzzface with the AWM shuts him down too, and it's suddenly only Markovs left alive, left standing in a corner where his position is known as well.
Position known. It looks like there's a bit of a firing squad at the moment. And then look at that. Marcelik, though, taking the knee, taking the crouch. But it's James. He's got the final kill. Does go back 2-1. He's going tit for tat at the moment. Let's see if Brexico's team can get at least one of the attacking points underneath the belt. As the first round, though, went towards Fuzzface, but Brexico had an answer. And they swap sides. Let's see if they can do it again.
Not clean so far. And just one more round being needed. Still puts them at a massive advantage. We said how tough it is to win any T rounds. And we saw that just a second ago. Once more Fuzzface. And his squad looking to bring home the match point now. Starts off, obviously, with the preparation phase again. Is able to barricade some of these doors. And every single round, it feels like they're learning more and more. Every single round, it's going to get tougher to beat these guys. even in a round they lose, they learn so much. Arguably, you lose, you kind of learn even more in a round you lose, right? So I'm a little bit worried right now for Briscoe and these guys coming in now through the warehouse landing zone. But yeah,
I do agree.
It's tough.
Your ability to the rate of learn is greater on a loss because you're adapting. You wouldn't expect the team that won to change their game plan, right? So you're trying to adapt again. No, there's an adaptation, same characters, but they've gone a little bit more tighter. Teams down that other side of the corridor, but with that AWM, we've seen how impactful that has been. The drone door going in hasn't quite get the full identifier. I think might have picked up Pixel there, maybe about 50-50, but they are staying closer. Maybe guns stacked up is what they want in the smoke. Going to try and make the push forward though. Fuzzface got an angle, so if they do play through, he's going to get caught up. Let's go though, goes through, doesn't quite get the check off though. He gets caught, Fuzzface puts him down. They do put a one, they are going for the push though. The aggressive stance comes in. They do exchange back though, and Fuzzface will fall.
Really aggressive, really explosive start to the
wow.
round. Now Gexy shuts down Heaven through the wall. This is exactly what the MK should be used for, and brings it back to a 3-on-3. Markovs though takes down Gexy in return and hits back the favor. It's Chris there to take down James as well. What is happening? They're turning this around. Suddenly it's only Pixel left standing. He picks Kova with the M4, but it's two more players that are being needed here. Spots out the first one. Second player pushes through the gas grenade right behind him. Surely he's going to go down as a result. Nate hits him, and it's Chris picks up the second point. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going down to the wire indeed. Both of these teams have been undefeated after this round. That's not going to stand no more.
Yep, we are going round number 5. It is best of 1. Obviously, there are rounds that are best of 5, so it means it is match point. So able to dig in. Now, FedEx. Fuzzface's team always put the first point on the board, whether it's defense or offense. Now we've swapped back. We are expecting Fuzzface's team to get the win, get this final point. Or has Mexico's team learned enough, adapted their team and game style to be able to put a solid defense on?
20 seconds. The last 20 seconds you will have to prepare yourself for that onslaught of players now. And I do have to say, just judging by the sides, just judging by what we've seen so far, there should be the advantage for Briscoe and his squad, just because of the fact that they're starting on the defender side. But then again, right, I was saying that. Then again, the only team that's really just not come through so far is Fuzzface and them. So who am I to speak? Who am I to predict anything just about now? One thing's for certain, though, all of them stacked up on one side, and all of them really aggressive right now. Usually takes a lot longer for them to clear out all these angles. They really are taking a lot of space right now.
And we saw this area yesterday in the scrims being a bit of a bottleneck. One player on the end, especially with drop down, hashtag best player, able to drop that smoke, that gas, and that can really stop. And not in a position now. Mexico team obviously going more for that defensive on site. They've got a couple roaming. They're trying to replay now. Look at this, the slight change up. Fuzzface and Gaxi has gone for the hammer. They do want to be able to get breach quickly as they can. But would it make effects? A slight bit of a change up from Fuzzface's team as they maybe change some of that secret sauce.
There he comes in, Markovs has to jump out of it. Has to be really careful now about his next steps as well. And interestingly enough, Fuzzface uses 2 nades to knock down these doors. That's how strong these reinforcements are. If you've got the time for it on the CT side, reinforcing these doors, as you see, is going to mean lots of utility has to be used by the attacking side. Look at this, James is just around the corner. Heaven could be taken out any second now.
I think he's waiting for reinforcements. Now he has to push forward. Oh, he doesn't quite get him. Collision shotgun shows well. Doesn't know how much close or danger close was in the other door, but he took advantage. They made the push forward though. It's still a 5 now versus 4. Correct that. 4 versus 4 is Chris. Is going backwards and forwards. Fuzzface goes back. If everyone throws a punch, there's someone else in return. It's Chris though trying to stack up, but he's on his own. He gets 1. He's unable to get the turn though, but it is a 3 versus 2. And Koa this time going for the meds. Able to put a med back on, but the numbers are in the favor of the attacking side, but the clock is in the favor of the defense.
Corvo almost took down Gaxi just there. That was really close. If you would have found that frag, maybe that was going to be an
Oh,
opportunity,
double.
but no, they push in at the same time. And unfortunately, even though the opportunity was there, it's going to mean Fuzzface and his squad will get the W, will get the victory. But it was a hard-fought one, and I got to be honest, these two teams look sharp.
Yeah. I did feel like, though, they needed a round. Brexco's team had a round. They lost a round. They came back and got the win. They're able to adapt that big brain style play. When we went to the 5th round, it was unknown. And Fuzzface, for the first time, their team changed the characters. They changed the selection. So maybe changing the dynamic, preempting that the team, Brexco's team, had an answer towards their game style. Fast breach, you highlighted it on that last round. The guys obviously went for the hammer. They went for the play to get through the field as best they could. Once they got there, it kind of felt like they stopped FedEx. And it was like, oh, like there was no pressure up to this point. Where the hell are they?
Yeah, really interesting. Even inside that round, we've seen so many different approaches now on that T side, right? And the very last one, you noticed it perfectly, right? I said at the start of the round as well. That last one seemed to be a variant that we haven't really seen up until this point, right? Just plowing on through, taking as much space as you can on the very opposing side that you'd normally spawn at to have like the easiest pathing, the easiest crossing onto any bomb site. So really, really good stuff. Switching things up, changing things, that whole mechanic around being able to choose where you spawn at the start of a round really comes into fruition as soon as we really have these elaborate strats, just like we've just seen. So I'm trying to see more of it. I love it.
Has been strong, but it does mean Fuzzface's team is going to be not stopped at all, as they will find themselves now at the top of that leaderboard. So yeah, 4-4, 4 wins out of 4 games for the team. Brexco obviously taking that first loss. I've got a 2-2 split, double win. 2-1. Unfortunately, Bad Boys, they've only haven't put any underneath the belt. And Spicy obviously isn't in that last game for themselves. That's 4 games. They're on their 3rd at the moment. Now this will be the final game. We will be just throwing to a quick break. When we come back, we will figure out who that last game we'll be watching. For now, we'll put a couple of minutes on the board, though, as we wait for production, just to let us know exactly who is going to be matching up head-to-head. Then after today, we'll wrap things up after the final game, let you guys know what the format is, exactly what's going to be happening tomorrow, as we will go into that final, because there is money on for grabs, though. Lion Show the prize ball will be taken by first or second, but more to come on that. See you guys in a few. Welcome back. As we got to check out what game was going, who versus who, head to head, decider game. They're all the things that we really want to be watching, though. It is, though, our final game coming up for the group stage. Every team we played once over, and obviously, if you've got a win, you got yourself a point. At the moment, the wins are going towards Fuzzface. Let's be honest, that team has been looking strong. Brett's going to put a good shout on as well. We have seen 2 games now go to the 5th round as well. Quite excited not to win and lose, but obviously, as you mentioned, you believe the defending side might be a little bit more the favourite.
Yeah, well, that really depends, right? We said they were going to be the favourites until Fuzzface and these guys came along. Until Brexco and these guys came along as well, right? They've done the same thing in the previous games, just not against Fuzzface and his squad. So excited to see how that meta is going to change. I said it before, start of a new game just like this. Everyone's trying to figure out as much as they can. And due to the fact that there's no open lobbies, no open matchmaking, the only time you can really learn about this, right? You can really figure stuff out is in a qualifier like this. So everyone's kind of got level playing field right now. Whoever can figure out the most, whoever just starts off with the best grasp for the game, is going to win the majority of these matches. And so far, that has been Fuzzface.
Have they been adapting quicker? Have they put more hours in? No, I don't think they've been adapting any quicker than some of the other teams. I feel like they've got a game plan. If it feels like they have, I know I've mentioned this a lot. They feel like they're the one team that have a plan to deliver, especially when it comes down to the attacking side. Defensive, obviously, set the angles, trying to hold out. But they're the first team for me where I'm watching FedEx and going, actually, hold on. They're executing something they've practiced, and it's either working or not. At the moment, we are seeing it working, but yet we haven't seen anyone counteract their game style. We've not seen anyone counteract the smokes, the drone, the Marselect plant. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. 15 seconds of preparation before we head into the very last game of the day. And I gotta be honest, looking at that team on the defense, I'd be surprised if they would have a clean... Not to throw any shit, I'd be surprised by any team that now has a clean sheet against Fuzzface and his squad on the defense side. So far, everything we've seen looked so methodical, so disciplined, so calculated as well. And out of the teams that I expected that to potentially have a chance at clean sheet, it has been Brexco's team. I mean, due to the fact they've been unbeaten as well. But even they couldn't really hold back. Even they couldn't really shoot back. And I think I'd be surprised, I said it before, if the same were to come through here. Quick trade, 2 trades at the same time.
Oh my
Brings
God.
back the advantage towards the defense, and Akatal opens things up with the second time as well. Even hits the trade, switches back to the pistol, hits James in the head. What is that? That is completely absurd.
Insane.
And suddenly, just like that, it's only Pixel left.
What just happened? He just, like, they kind of dropped the ball. Like, Marselect tried to make the aggressive push. Let's break that bit down. Marselect tried to make the aggressive push, right? He didn't quite check off that right side. He got caught by the blue, and he was eager to try and get around there. Obviously, he came around, great shot. But then they were so focused on where maybe Marselect, we know Marselect likes a bit of communication. He likes to talk during the team games, right? They were so focused on where Marselect was trying to get into. I felt like they dropped the ball again, not just once, but twice over. Lucky enough for that second firearm. Good swap over to the secondary, able to put down. That's a 3-pack on the board. If you think you've got what it takes to take down this team like they just did and picked apart Fuzzface as well, exclamation mark project are in chat. Get yourself on Steam. More importantly, hit that wish list. Get that on your wish list. So when news drops, when articles come out about the game, you will be notified and be in a chance to get the game, or at least one of the first in the community to get it downloaded and playing.
Next round coming up. They've already grabbed themselves the very first round, which is more than the majority of these teams that played against Fuzzface say about themselves. First couple of barricades now being destroyed by Marselect. A couple of shots back and forth by Gaxi as well. And Iron Guy almost gets taken down as a result of that as well. But he just about stays alive. Maybe a medkit could bring him back, but I don't think there's any on that team, actually.
Nope. They haven't picked it. Unfortunately, neither team has that option just at the moment. They're going to have to try and duke this one out, though. They have to do the advantage, though. So Fuzzface's team still has 5 alive. They are sort of chipping away now. Fuzzface in the middle of a bit of a danger area. Only has going to be spotted. Gets a few shots, though, but he teams Gaxi there to provide some covers. The angle's being generated, though. Does get one. Another push, though, comes in from Marsek. I like the applied pressure from this team as they continue to push on forward. 3 versus 1. He's right in the middle. He's right in the heart. Doesn't have to make too much when it comes down to a defensive play, but he does now. The plant's down. Now the ball's in their court. Pixel is the one tagging. They kind of know roughly where he might be, but they do not need to go fishing just yet. The fish needs to come to them.
Yeah, Pixel once again plays it really smart. He could just take this 1v1, but he doesn't. He doesn't. He plays it smart. Ooh, that nade on his own might bring things back. Fadred, if he catches Fuzzface, that might be completely turned around upside down. I think he's going to do it as well.
God.
I think it's going to be down to Pixel. What is happening here, ladies and gentlemen? He might be on the defuse as well.
No, he hasn't got time. Pixel's there to clutch up in the end.
Goodness.
That nade from Fuzzface nearly went sideways as he got a team kill on Marselek. Marselek would be laughing in chat, but it was so close. Should he have stayed on his feet? Should he have waited for the push to come through? He didn't. He went for that defuse. You have to hold that F key to get that defuse in, and when you're locked in, you're locked in. And Pixel came on sweeping on by 1-1 on the board, but that FedEx was really dangerously close, going for a 2-0.
Wow. It could have been the 2-0. That would have been the biggest upset of the tournament so far, in my opinion. Especially in a clutch scenario like this. And Fuzzface, my goodness, if they would have lost this round, he definitely, we'll have to stop for a second there and think about what he's just done, because that surely was his problem. That surely was his fault. But it didn't happen. A couple of reinforcements now being made on the bomb side, obviously in preparation phase. Before we head on over to the very first round now. That could potentially secure the lead back towards Makatao and his team.
Good to see the Fuzzface team does destroy that wall in between B and A, so providing the opportunity not just to move between the two sites, but also line of sight. Being able to see a little bit of a difference, though, as we kind of got a 3-1-1 split. They're kind of chipping away at this one. See, explosion doors have gone down. Going to get some intel to see if there's anyone behind that sort of desk that sits in the corner. A little bit of a sneaky play that we've not seen used just yet, but looks like the team is still interested and keen to clear that line of sight even further between bomb site A and bomb site B.
Good nade comes in. Is going to secure them another room. But so far, no one's really close to each other. Marseille game falls back towards the B site. Dreams and Pixel just outside the A side as well. Might catch Farad off guard any second here. He's kind of playing this lurking role that we saw Pixelic do on the attacking side as well. But other than that, I think the pathing should be clear now for the attacking side. It's supposed to be B.
It's the pathing. That's on a little bit of the off angle. He's been disciplined at the moment. He's now trying to hold out just a bit. The team still 5 alive, but taking a few more, I say, damage. Definitely going in the favour of, I suppose, after losing one, Fuzzface's team, they are down 1, not just 1, make that 2 now as the AW comes into sight. Gaxi puts that MK towards the action as well, so he is able to get one underneath the belt as well. A bit of a clash now. Master able to pick, but Mix with Pixel picks up, does work his way back. Final player now does go. 30 seconds remain. The attacking force down numbers, needs 2 or 3 weldy shots, but they don't need to give it just yet. Great use, though. Pixel uses that defensive when it comes down to the gas grenade, the gas launcher. Able to pick up that final play. GG's. Fuzzface's team back in control, 2-1.
Massive advantage now on their part. They've got match from that point. Be reminded, these are all best of ones as we head in over to the playoffs tomorrow and obviously the grand finals to see who's really taking the lion's share of these almost $7,000 that are up for grabs. But this time around, no one's really solidified themselves here on the leaderboard. Fuzzface and his squad surely have to be the favorites though. But once again, not without any competition. I think the game against Preston could have gone either way. A couple of scenarios maybe would have resulted in a different outcome. And We saw them on the attacking side just there as well. It could have easily been a 2-0 for Makatao and his squad as well.
Are there scores and tables available? Yes, there are. There is a leaderboard, though, that is up. I will also pop that both in chat. That's the link to the leaderboard, guys, so you can keep track of the group stages. We'll remind you of the structure, though, after this round, but this technically is the final round of the group stages. There might be tiebreakers after this, so we need to decide if there's if there's a tiebreaker for first and second, or if there's second and third, but we'll come back to that in a second. At the moment, let's focus down on this game, as the first team does go now towards the attacking side. They've got the number advantage. James Roman does get caught as they do push on forward.
Loser and grenade forces them back towards the right-hand side of the map. That nade shuts down a couple of barricades as well. And so far, it's only really Fuzzface who's got a say in how far they can really go with that. Gas grenade is at least going to delay things. And it's so strong. You can see as soon as it pops, it immediately deals just about 50 damage for anyone who's inside of it. So you really have to be careful of these audio cues. If you overhear them, you might find yourself in the position that once again, Iron Guy has found himself in just a moment ago.
And that's obviously they used the identifier, used the ability to drone through, and then stacking up that blue zone. We spoke about that in the pre-show. That's a trick that's being used, or collaboration, should we say, between multiple characters using that. And they just go down the end of the corridor. That hasn't really got the information, but they do have the numbers advantage. James is the only one down. There's a lot of damage being caused, though, on the attacking side. A lot of them are down kind of 3/4, potentially even pushing our halves, but the defending team don't need to move, Felix. They can just continue to wait, because it's all in the hands. And look at that. Fuzzface activates. He gets one. The Blue Zone nade gets the second. No, correct that. Fuzzface gets the kill on the second. Blue Zone nade does the damage. And Fuzzface activates once again, Felix. Third one on the board. What an off angle he's holding.
Unbelievable. And Fat Red finds himself in a 1-on-3 just like that. He takes down Galaxy to even get there in the first place. My goodness, Fuzzface, he's sure as hell carried this round. He's found 3 frags all on his lonesome, and he's looking for the 4th. Fatred has just now been spotted as well. Pixelic shuts him down. The M4 seems to be very deadly in his hands as well. And ladies and gentlemen, we do have ourselves the first team that's gone undefeated today. Not a single team was able to put up with that performance, and it's only limitedly surprising to us. Yes, we said Arctis and these guys are probably going to be equally as strong coming into today, but let's be honest, that's changed the last 24 hours. Someone's practiced, obviously.
Well, there's one thing we do know, and that would be undisputed champions. They should be in first place when it comes down to the leaderboard. Obviously, the guys behind the scenes, the Bingy Sports team, will be looking now and just going through. Obviously, I'll put the leaderboard link just in chat as well, so you can actually have a quick look before it refreshes as well, to make sure there's no tiebreaker games that we might need to play. Technically, all the games have finished, though, here for day number 1, but we might have some tiebreakers, so just stay locked in at the moment while we remind you guys of the structure. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to play the scrims. The teams, obviously, a couple of them played against each other. A couple of them sort of stayed in their own lobbies and kind of trying to work out the characters, work out the game plans and the angles, which I kind of feel like we've seen executed a little bit today. Group stages, though, is a best of 1. Every team had to play one team over as a single elimination bracket, and obviously with best of 5, I saw a few games go 3-0 as they will claim that victory. Tomorrow, though, we are going to be coming back, though, for the playoffs and the grand finals, but seeding 1 and seeding number 2, well, they're going to be going straight through towards that semi-finals, obviously making for the play, whereas the rest of the lobby, we're duking it out in a series of games in the quarters, just to kind of determine where we are going to end up on the leaderboard. With 7,000 USD up for grabs, obviously the line share, Felix, is going to be towards that first and second place, and I kind of got to agree with you at the moment. I haven't really felt of a team that has an answer to Fuzzface's teams. Pixel's putting high kills on. I'll be surprised. No, the guy's insane. Super cracked. Breaking it down. He's like the knife king when it comes down to this game anyway. But that team has a game plan. I've not quite seen a full executable plan that's going to be able to stop them. I've seen glimmers. I'd say there's been glimmers in some of these other teams, but I haven't really seen a full executable plan that's been able to stop Fuzzface.
No. Likewise, I don't think there's any team at the moment that can really put up with them. And it's not surprising to me. You look at these names, right? You just know what to expect. You've got absolute dryhards, absolute sweaters on that team, active professional players as well, which is a big advantage in comparison to plenty of these other teams. Let's be honest, there's plenty of streamers in there that have great mechanical skill, but you've got a couple of active pro players, players that literally play 8 to 12 hours a day to improve as much as they can. That's just different. That's just different, especially if these players have played with each other in teams as well. They know how to react, they know how to play off of each other, and that's exactly what we saw. So interested to see whether or not we have tiebreakers now. I don't expect there to be any, but we're making sure that that doesn't happen, that no game is being left uncasted here that we're supposed to follow. But yeah, I mean, if you were to ask me predictions going into tomorrow, I got to go with Fussface and his squad as well.
Yeah, I'd expect him to maybe take the win. I don't know. We know Brexco at that depth of the squad, able to go back and watch the VODs and kind of break down how they play. We saw Fuzzface, though, in one of those games make a change as well. Felix actually stacked up, though, finding Carnival as the character with the hammer.
Yeah.
They made a change and actually got the win against that team. So I think they need to obviously preempt as well that they are adapting to potentially how teams are changing things up. Game plans can be aggressive. I like that they can kind of put it on a swivel. They can either go aggressive, go hard, breach their way through, or actually maybe play a little bit more passive, stack up. We've seen a few times where this team kind of got together and kind of moved their way through, clear the rooms. Everyone on highlight, obviously, we mentioned Pix already, but James Felix on an off angle has been pretty impressive. He's been able to be quite creative. He's able to move his way around. And even that last round, Fuzzface was kind of playing that role as well as James went down. But they're able to activate. They're able to put themselves in a position where actually forget about me for a moment, focus on where the action is, and then Fuzzface activated. James has activated multiple times this evening as well. And they pick up not just one, but two, maybe three kills. And that there is crippling to a team.
It also seems like Pixel and James are kind of taking turns on who's playing Lurk. We've seen both of these players have massive performances and clutch rounds for his team. But yeah, sometimes Pixelic is the one to kind of spawn on the other side of the map, making sure to at least pull some attention away from the actual push. And sometimes it's been James, but it's either play that has worked out perfectly, right? Someone was always there to clutch things out when there need be. Pixel, obviously, especially in that round where Fuzzface unfortunately needed his teammate, and then I think one of the players was able to bring it back from a 1v4 down to a 1v1. But yeah, even that round wasn't lost, right? Even that clutch, they did win, even though Pixelic had to run across like 3 rooms and threw a smoke to even deny the defuse on the decrypt at that point. So who's really there to stop them? Who's really there to stop them? I don't see any team just yet.
We are expecting actually a tiebreaker, FYI. So I won't bring the leaderboard up just yet. They are just double checking because there is one game just finishing up. But just now, instead of throwing you guys to a break, I'm going to show you guys some of the characters again. Some of the key characters that we can kind of whiz through here. Then, obviously, the MK, actually, well, we know it's a powerful gun anyway from PUBG. And the PUBG partners are showing us that they know how to use this gun effectively. But it does hit a big punch. And the knife for me, not so many knife kills today, but yesterday was something being used really, really heavily. I think Zen is a character I'd like to see more of personally. I think we've seen glimmers and some characters, some individuals use this character, but not a lot. I definitely would say not a favorite character at the moment, or a kind of a core element to some of these teams.
Yeah, no. But to be fair, you're saying he's not a core element. Arguably, he really is. I
think
felt
he
like
is.
there was. Yeah.
I think he is, but I don't think he's not being used at the moment a lot. I feel like some teams are
interesting.
not picking him up as much.
I feel like we've seen him a lot actually. All these frags through walls.
We
saw Fuzzface on that 3K, for example. Yeah. It has been Sen, right? You don't necessarily see him as much on screen because most of the times he's trying to go for long-range shots. Maybe that's why he hasn't been as prominent. But I think most of the frags mid-game that we see that once again we do not see on screen but happen have been through Sen, right? Yeah. He sets himself up in the correct position. He shoots through a wall. Done. That's one frag immediately. Just like that. You hit it, he's down. So I think a player like that, a character like that, can be hugely beneficial if the information is being communicated effectively.
I feel like though people will go for Buddy over Zen. Whether that's the right choice, I'm undecided. And I think you got to tie up: is the drone Felix more powerful than the knife? And what I mean by the team's not fully picking Zen is that I feel like I'm seeing more Buddy characters picked at the moment over Zen and. Is the AWM more powerful? Obviously, with the instant shot, you're going to get the kill as well. Arguably, the throwing knife has just got a bigger impact. You've already highlighted that MK being able to deliver those shots through the wall rapidly as well has been critical. But I feel like the drone, this one's slightly different to Heinz, right? Because it has a better ratio, but you've got to throw it. You can't just throw it through a wall. It's line of sight throw, right? And it does spread out. But I feel like Buddy has been definitely a favoured a little bit. We saw a lot more though from what you wanted. Collision came very much into play the second half of the stream though. I saw a lot more teams using it, more kills coming out, and actually we saw teams stacking up with a Collision as well. So you kind of got your wish, I think, Felix, from the beginning of the show compared to the end.
Yeah, if you're asking me about what's really changed in terms of characters being picked as well, or like strats, I wouldn't even say we've seen too much now that's really changed in terms of what we've seen in scrims, right? The only thing that I noticed really was Heaven playing with Collision, something we haven't seen yesterday, and actually making frags with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm surprised no one else has really picked up on that. I've said it from the very start. I feel like he's a really, really strong character. And even on the attacking side, his smoke grenades and his deployable traps, we've seen it have impact plenty of times, but it seems like no one can really figure out how to combine that character with anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the parts where I think there's still so much more potential. Right, you were talking about it as well with Heinz and his traps entering bomb sites and all that. That's stuff that we haven't really seen
No.
yet. But maybe there's the fact that everyone's kind of figuring stuff out and everyone is trying to set themselves up into positions where you can really use that in the first place. And I think getting to these positions, that's the tough part up until this point. And I can understand why. It's been tough for me as well playing that one we won yesterday with you, right? It's tough finding yourselves the right position.
Right position, right character as well. I think you're right. I think we're alluding to something that's going to develop with this game over time, and it's kind of character combos. I think this is, as much as I really like the visualization. I really like how the game mechanically plays as well. It's kind of not your POV. You're looking down. You've got to adapt. You can do those crouch spins on people. I love all of that. Don't get me wrong. I love all that. I love all this line of sight. But I think you're alluding to actually this game's potential when it comes down to character selection. We have other games that have character selection, right? But you can stack characters up, but you might start to see these kind of relationships building with actually, if you're going with character X, maybe character Y needs to consolidate. Maybe we need to enhance the team by having the med kits, maybe, or this P90 is going to be kind of the one that we see. Fnatic, I feel like as a character has been selected regularly. Seems to be a secure spot within the team, especially on a defensive team that might want to get the meds. Oh, not as many from an offensive. We saw a couple of times, Felix, but from a defensive side, that med kit seems to be powerful for these teams.
Yeah, we've only seen it a couple of times, but I actually agree. I think it's not been used enough. How often do we really see players being injured early stages of a game and then falling back and just playing that round with the remaining HP they have, right? In all of these scenarios, and I think it's happened in almost every single game, if they'd have a medkit, he'd be back to almost full HP and he'd actually be like a valuable member that could take risk and push out as well instead of just relying on getting someone straight. So I think, yeah, if maybe every once in a while we see a couple of more players using that champ, I think it might make a difference. Who knows? Maybe there's too much utility missing otherwise, but at least straightforwardly thinking of the situation where he could have been used, there's been plenty.
Yep, it's about plenty. Apex, MP5 delivering a pack of a punch all the time. He's alluding to maybe potentially speed, and was looking at speed and movement. We're not quite sure on that one. Blue Zone Aid, huge as well. Mostek obviously using to sort of duck in with their smokes and then duck back out after getting that plant down. So a very, for me, another key character. Obviously, this game will develop. We'll see more characters. We'll see more combinations come back out. Look, we're still waiting for the guys just to get a confirmation on the tiebreaker. It looks like there might be a tiebreaker for third. We are just waiting for that final game to kind of finish. We're going to have a quick break though. When we come back, we'll either got a tiebreaker and we'll get ourselves straight back into the game, or we'll come back and obviously let you guys know what will be happening and when tomorrow. So stay tuned. Let us know what your thoughts are so far of the game, who you like, maybe character-wise, who you think will be taking the tournament. But for now, we'll see you guys in a few. Let's go! We've got to decide that. Why? Because it depends on who's playing who. But deciders at TDM, that's what we want to see, FedEx. We get straight into the action. It's a race to 30 kills, though. Who's going to get the first one on the board, though? It's a defensive hold from the red team.
Oh my goodness, we've seen this yesterday. It's definitely a lot more explosive than the bomb mode, obviously. And gadgets can be used as well, meaning depending on how these teams play, depending on how they use it, that might be the advantage going one way or another. Klim starts it off, though. Not the very first kill, but at least the very first one for his team. Makes it 1-1.
Yep, 2-1. It's going to go quick, by the way. 30 kills does not last very long, guys, because I know comes through the board. A little bit more an aggressive push, though, as I'd say the red team now over halfway, but it is halfway on one side. There is a little bit of hold. The corridor has been held down, and that's going to be a big hold. We definitely see the AWMs, the MKs. They kind of hold the character, but it doesn't hold for long, though. They're making a push back 4-4-4 as the red team packing a punch as they reinsert their line.
Perfect comeback. 3 minutes and 40. Either that, and who's got the most kills, or first to 30. Whether or not that's going to happen, we're going to see in a minute. Couple of shots coming out towards Makatao, the team captain for that blue team. Currently starting on the left-hand side, and there's the gadgets coming in as well. But it's been way less explosive than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be way more players just pushing straight on through. And we saw Shay doing that just a second ago. Klim is picking up another one, brings it back to 8-5.
That felt unfair. Just didn't get the reload in. I feel like the red team is definitely more organised when it comes down to this push here. Obviously, that the line of sight, they're not helping. That fence really causing some issues. Blue team get the clears. They now make the push forward as the blue zone goes. But they're pushing towards Nade. And Klim yet again is there to pack a punch. Not just for one, but another two goes underneath his belt.
Blue zone grenade in the midst of it again. Probably the utility that's been most used up until this point. Makatao now with the AWM. That's smart. That's something we haven't seen before. But Ibaku and Klim still cleaning out that left-hand side. Bring it back. So many frags now being picked up before Makatao is able to equalize things, at least on the left-hand side. Not in terms of scoreline, that's for sure. As it is 15-9 still. EMEA make that 15-10. That's what they need. Bring it back one by one. Maybe... just maybe Artix can be taken down as well. He does, but he takes down one duster just beforehand.
Yeah, you normally see like one player aside sort of hold this corridor, the bottom side of your screen, and the sort of the action happens really out in the garden, the courtyard, so to speak, but not at the moment. His teams are kind of stacking up a little bit, but then they revisit. Now he goes forward. Blues aren't going to make the push. 18 for 13 now, so they've got to push forward and get these kills. This is the defensive now happens on the red team. Flash will come through. Hasn't got the full flash just at the moment. Shots exchange over the courtyard, though. As another flash will come through to the reds, but only 1 HP remains. It's going to be difficult. He's got no reinforcements. He has to make a full run back, but he's getting stacked up on. He's able to spin, but no, Shade will put him down.
Good stuff. It's what they need, but they need so much more of this. Makatao, unfortunately, takes down his own teammate. Klim takes down Fat Red as well, and they're closing in to double the scoreline of the defense side, or rather blue team side this time around, as there isn't really one. To make that 23-13. 3 more frags to double it. Looks all the more unlikely right now, doesn't it, Mark?
Oh, it's difficult. It is difficult. They can't be losing people. There's Flash, though, coming in. Another one goes down. 5 more remain now for the red team. They've got the control. They took the offensive. They took the aggressive stance, though. FedEx, they pushed past that midway point. There comes another great Flash. Picks him up. 1 versus 1 down the bottom. They would get one, but he's able to get him down to 1 HP. Does go for the exchange. But now pushing on forward, though. Klim yet again. on their kills. And the Blues, they're struggling, Felix. They can't get out their own courtyard. 2 more kills remain for the win.
Yeah, and make that one. While Young is going to be able to pick one up. Red might just be the last player to go down.
Oof.
But I don't even think he's going to be bummed. No, it doesn't matter. While Young still picks it up. 30-19. That's destruction. And you can see it, yeah, Klim on 10-0. He has not died this entire round. Are you kidding me right now? Klim 10-0
Insane.
in a tiebreaker as well, in a match that really only essentially comes down to the frags. That's nuts.
Best of 30 as well, and he put 10 on the board. Hey guys, get on my shoulders. I'm carrying you through. Obviously, why is that key? Well, that's mainly key because when we look at the formation, obviously, if there was a tie for third place plays 6th and 4th place 5th. So it does actually make a matter when it comes down to the money. Why? And what you talk about, Mark and Felix? Well, what we're talking about now is tomorrow we're back, same time, same place, same channels. More importantly, so you can choose the platform you prefer to watch. But here we are going towards the playoffs in the group stages. Obviously, if you're first or second, you'll be going through to that semi-final. So you're kind of playing your way through for the lion's share of the prize pool. And obviously from third down, you'll be kind of playing yourself round. We are looking best of 3s, best of 5 for the final. But obviously, it is key. If you get yourself higher up that leaderboard, it means more money for you and your team to be taken home, though, on this Project Art Invitational. And it's the first one of its kind. Just shy of 7,000 USD is up for grabs for these teams. And there's some time potentially that they're going to have to go away and now reset and think, actually, what do we want to do? What is it that we all want to achieve? And more importantly, do we have a game plan, Felix, against Fuzzface's team?
Well, we're going to see about that tomorrow, don't we? I'm not going to be there, but you are for sure, Mark. So I wish you best of luck going through these games. You have my prediction. I guess we're going to see tomorrow whether or not that rings true.
No, we'll have to wait and see how it rings true. As I said, we're back in the same time, same place tomorrow. Though, if you want to have a look at the leaderboard after the stream, you can do. One final look, though, will be for us. So I've got you to pop it up on screen. So not quite got the refresh there anyway. But obviously, the main takeaway, as we mentioned before, though, is Fuzzface's team. They went all the way through without dropping a game. 5-0 is the main thing for them. That's it really from us, though, as we will be back. Or I'll be back, as Felix said, same time, same place tomorrow, as we'll be duking down from the playoffs all the way through towards those grand finals. So make sure, though, between now and then, you type !! Project Arc into chat. Get yourself over to Steam. Make sure you hit that wish list, though, and get the latest information for the game and be one of the first people when it drops to get you and your team, if you think you've got what it takes to take on the players like that. That's it from us, though, and we'll see all you wonderful people tomorrow. Bye.
Lift my feet off the ground, let gravity take me up. As beautiful as it's been, it's time for me to go. I wanna sail away, I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul. I've gotta go all